Welcome to this update rundown for Lands of Icaria version 2.3.0.0. With this, we update to Minecraft version 121.1 and Neoforge version 21.1.47. As always, this update brings you fixes, additions and changes to existing content. Let's get started. Let's start with fixes. There are two visual fixes for the Forge model. One for the Forge item model, which fixes the missing hedge, and second for the Forge block model, which fixes the missing texture on the underside of the pliers that are laying on the forge. Tinted breaking particles emitted from several blocks like grassy marl, our troughs, vines and potted plants were fixed. We fixed missing animal health. When an animal grows and increases its size, it also increases its maximum health, but not the health itself. For example, an Eterna when fully grown from a bred or spawned baby Eterna would still only have one single health point instead of 16. Let's continue with updates. We updated the Eterna and Cartobelpass to feed from troughs filled with spelt. We updated the sow to feed from troughs filled with onions. There are several updates for the bubble spell. For once, we updated the bubble spell to play a cast sound when it's used. And we updated the bubbles that are spawned from the bubble spell to pop at different times instead of all at once. Also, the bubbles now play an audible sound when they pop. The sound type for the kettle was updated from stone to wood, since it's mostly made out of wood instead of stone. Alongside this, we also updated the mining tool that's needed for the kettle to be mined. Instead of a pickaxe, now a axe is used to mine the kettle. Pillar heads now show a tooltip, hinting their placement can be inverted while sneaking. Spawn rates for the Argenhound and the server were updated to spread out their appearance and make place for the newly added Crocotta. Argenhounds now mostly occur in forests and servers mostly occur in scrublands now. Later I will get back to the Crocotta, a fresh new mob. Our troughs received a major update. They are now able to be filled with water using water bottles and emptied using glass bottles. To be filled with Mediterranean water using Mediterranean water buckets and emptied using buckets. To be filled with onions for sows to feed from. To be filled with spelt for Eterna and Cartobelpass to feed from. And to be filled with wineberries for the Capella to feed from. Later I will get back to the Capella, a freshly new added animal. Our Icarian chests and trap chest also received major updates. They are now able to be colored using dye, marked as glowing with glowing sacs, revert to glowing with normal ink sacs, and wax them with honeycombs to prevent further editing, similar to how signs work with simple right-click actions. Alongside this, chest labels also received a major update. They no longer need to be named or renamed in an anvil and cleared with shift right-click. They open a GUI with right-click now, offering an interface to set, update and reset the text of the label. This will no longer change the item name itself, which still can be changed by editing it with an anvil, but will have no effect on the shown text on the label when applied to a chest. The name of the text is shown beneath the item name in a tooltip now, alongside with the color and style for glowing text in case the label was already applied to a chest and altered with dye or ink sacs. Applying chest labels to an Icarian chest or trap chest no longer needs to be done with shift right click. A simple right click action will suffice now. Only removing the chest label from an Icarian chest or trap chest will need the player to shift right click at the label. Let's continue with additions. As already mentioned before, we added two new mobs. One new animal and one new monster. Let's start with the animal. The Capella. That comes in 4 sizes, similar to our other animals. They love to eat wineberries and drop new loot, like the Capella Horn, a rare mob drop that will be useful for content from an upcoming update. They also drop raw Capella meat, which can be cooked into cooked Capella meat. And of course, they also drop their skulls as a rare mob drop. Let's continue with the Crocotta, a new monster that spawns in the dark during night, hunts in packs, and drops new loot, like raw Crocotta meat, which can be cooked into cooked Crocotta meat. And of course, they also drop their skull as a rare mob drop. 2 new paintings were added, Ender Jellyfish and Window. We added 2 new crafting recipes to increase the compatibility between the latest version of Minecraft and Lands of Icaria. Spade can now be used instead of wheat to craft packed mud. And Lands of Icaria crafting tables can now be used to craft a crafter. And last but not least, we added custom subtitles for sounds. For example, the Cartobel Pass uses vanilla sounds and therefore displays an unfitting subtitle, which is changed to the fitting subtitle now. Also, custom sounds are fitted with subtitles now. For example, the grinder when grinding uses custom sounds but had no subtitles. This is changed now. This applies to all blocks, entities and items that have any sounds tied to them. That wraps up this update rundown for Lands of Icaria. We hope you enjoyed and see you next time.